everything I do is flow. So, like, the way this river is just flowing, right? Okay. I'm just sitting here, standing here, right? Listening to the water hit the rocks at the end of this thing. And, like, I was just kind of like doing like a standing meditation, and I was just being with this shit for a second. And like I'm sober, right? So like I have my pen with me. I could have hit the pen, but I haven't hit the pen yet. But like I wanted to just kind of mention the connection between why, like, the reason why I do everything I do is because it's all the same thing to me. Like, it reminds me of the it's all one. It's we're all one is even deeper than like just all consciousness inside of all bodies and plants and animals and whatever is all the same consciousness, but all consciousness in the universe is all the same consciousness. Like, it's deeper than that as well. It's like the fact that me making music, me having meditative moments like this, me using psychedelics the way I do, they're all three completely different things, but yet they're all the same thing. Like, it's all one, right? It's so I was kind of sitting here, just standing here. The sun wasn't out yet, so like it was cloudy, like it was blocked by a bunch of clouds. So there was a nice breeze, the sun wasn't out, and I just heard the water and the bugs. And it was so fucking like this beautiful, peaceful. I could feel the oneness. Because I think that's what we feel when we have those moments outside, when you go for a hike, or you go out in nature, or you hear the water, you go to a waterfall. Like, it reminds me of like when Terrence McKenna said, if you want a teacher, try a waterfall, or a storm pounded seashore, or like a mountaintop, climbing a mountaintop, or what he meant is like these are some of the greatest teachers because it's all the same teacher, just it's all just different aspects of this one thing. Like, people always say like meditation or psychedelics. Yes, they are one in the same type thing. They are both giving you access to this thing, but I believe that meditation with someone who is like, if somebody has practiced meditation for 30 years, right, that they might be able to hold this like peaceful feeling that I just felt, right, for a much longer period of time compared to someone who hasn't. But the same can be achieved with psychedelics and with plants and herbs and meditation. Like, when you use all of these things together, they can become a much faster and more efficient way to apply it. And like, because we always, in the psychedelic community, people always talk about integration. But like, integration is complicated because the way I've used psychedelics, a lot of people have disagreed because people would say that I would abuse them because, like, I used to use psychedelics often, right? Like, when I want to do a psychedelic, I want to get to know that psychedelic on many different aspects. So I'd like to do small doses, medium doses, extremely high doses, multiple times, many times, to try to get to know it and try to see it from many different, experiences. Now, by doing that, though, I've been able to see that in the psychedelic experience is the meditative experience, is the yoga experience, is the tantra experience, is the music experience, is the human, like, inside of, like, and I guess I'm talking more about all of my experiences with DMT, inside of that thing seems to be every experience that can be experienced, every feeling that can be felt, every idea that can be had. It's so much more complicated than I'll ever be able to explain it. But the oneness aspect of this shit is so deep that it's crazy. Like, because I think we need to get away from one way is right and one way is wrong. And we need to get to a personal question of who are you and what's going to help you and what's your journey, right? Because for me, my journey was I learned about meditation before I did psychedelics. I think that was all, like everything seems to have happened for a reason. Because if I didn't learn about meditation before psychedelics, I wouldn't have immediately went into using DMT, meditating, learning how to try to like calm my mind down when the shit is hitting hard, right? And it took a lot of work and practice and figured out many different techniques with using different frequencies and silence and because in the silence sometimes your mind isn't silent, so it's not really that silent. So then you can use frequencies to try to help you learn how to silence the mind, but the frequencies do affect the trip. But what happens with me on the journey, psychedelics, the whole thing, whatever, is the same thing that happens when I'm making music sober. Like I could sit down, make music sober, and the same feeling that I get out here, or that same afterglow, beautiful feeling you get after a nice psychedelic experience, right? That one, like that brief moment of oneness you feel. I like that's for me it's the same thing of that brief moment of in the flow state. Like even right now, like when I make videos, when I'm in the flow state, not every video I'm in the flow state. Like some videos I'm more thinking and expressing. Other videos I'm just in the flow state, kind of just flowing, almost like channeling. Like it's a weird thing. But when I'm doing that, it feels very similar to when I'm making music or when I'm in that oneness experience in the psychedelic, or when I'm in that like beautiful just listening to the water hit and the birds and the bugs and just kind of staring off at this beautiful fucking thing. But I think they're all teachers. If I went to a waterfall right now, it'd be a similar thing. If I smoked DMT right now, it'd be a similar thing. Like, you could smoke DMT inside, and it'll give you the feeling as if you're sitting here, like, standing here observing the sun, or, like, on some spiritual energy shit. Like, you can feel that love, that connection, that feeling of being part of something much bigger than you. And that's what it's like when I'm sitting here, standing here. That really makes it seem like it's a similar experience to like psychedelics, where it's like when I'm standing here and it clicks after the water's hitting, I'm not necessarily conscious of it when it clicks, but I get the feeling of it, of like, wow, the awe of like, this planet is so big, but I am a part of it, right? And then when you do psychedelics, you can see that the psychedelic is so big, but yet somehow you are a part of it. Like when I make music and I'm sitting there making beats, and it literally starts with nothing, and I start playing with sounds and adding different melodies on top of each other, adding bass and adding drums and adding this and adding that. Like, I'll be in awe sometimes listening to my own songs. Like, it's just an extension of me. It's like another thing, because to me it's all connected. I don't know if you guys have ever smoked DMT, but people talk about how the DMT entities will like sing objects into creation or whatever. And to me, when I make a song, it's like, damn, it's just too fucking weird and trippy now, because I'm like, You know, I just sung an object into creation, but I didn't like sing it. I thought it, acted it out, but that's what humans do. But like, it's all fucking connected, bro. It's all one thing. One giant fucking thing happening that like is so big that it will never be able to be explained. But here my trippy ass is trying to fucking explain it. Much love, everybody.